Got a fantastic Lion's Den debate panel tonight. All of us trying to find out what happened to this child. In a moment, we're going to talk to the missing girl's brother in a primetime exclusive. But first, straight out to KRLD reporter Joe Gomez. Joe, what is the very latest?
Jane, what we understand is that police have tracked down cell phone pings of Ann Hill's cell phone. She was, the pings were last found in the area of the University of Central Oklahoma. So that was the last area that a cell phone tower received a signal from her phone. So it's possible that it could have been turned off and she could have been taken somewhere else. So backtracking just a little bit, Jane, the last time that Ann Hill was seen was leaving a movie. She was apparently leaving a friend's house, watching a movie. She was supposed to go home. Her mother was up late, waiting to give her a hug goodnight. But Jane, Ann never made it home. Her mother says that she vanished into the night, and days later, her car was found abandoned. Of course, Ann was nowhere near it. And now we're desperately trying to find this beautiful 16-year-old young lady. Hopefully nothing bad has happened to her, Jane.
Well, listen, when your car that you just got the keys to, you're 16 years old, and the mother says she just gave her the keys to the car, or she just got the keys to this car through her own savings, there's the car, and it's found abandoned. That is ominous. It's an ominous sign, and it was undoubtedly a wake-up call for authorities that there was something to see here, that this is more than just a runaway. Now, here's the timeline of Ann's disappearance. Her mom told cops she last saw Ann almost 2 weeks ago, Thursday, April 10th. The next morning, Friday, Ann told her mom she was going to the gym, and the gym confirmed that Ann was there. About 4 o'clock that day, a male source told cops he saw Ann at the McDonald's. Then, 10 p.m. that night, she supposedly speaks to a man on the phone about going to the movies. That same male source told cops Ann was hanging out with, quote, some bad people, end quote. And he told cops he was very concerned. Straight out to the Lion's Den, I want to bring in Reggie Hill and Josette Hill's brother. First of all, Reggie, I'm so sorry that you're going through this nightmarish experience, and I know it's like a surreal nightmare. But what can you?
Surreal. It's correct. It's like you see it on TV, but it's just not something that happens in real life.
Well, first of all, do you have an issue with cops initially reportedly saying, "Well, this is a runaway, nothing to see here"?
Yeah, we reported it, and we didn't feel like we were taken serious. But I mean, this was so not her behavior. I mean, she's very family oriented. She always called her mom, and mom was always in close contact, so we knew immediately. By Saturday morning, I mean, she had never contacted her mom, and we knew immediately on Saturday something was not right.
And what did the cops say? Why did they jump to the conclusion that she was a runaway?
Just her age. That's the only thing we can come to. The conclusion we can come to is just due to her age that she just must be a runaway.
Well, I want to bring in the nation's premier expert on missing young women and children, Mark Klass, founder of Klass Kids Foundation, and you have gone through your own horrific tragedy of your daughter being abducted and ultimately murdered, and have turned that heartache into helping others. Do you think that cops dropped the ball here? 12 days ago, she vanished, and it was only last Wednesday, after her car was found abandoned, that suddenly a light bulb goes off and says, maybe this is really something awful.
Yes, Jane. In fact, I do think they dropped the ball. Calling a missing child a runaway used to be the default position for every law enforcement agency in the United States back in the 90s. Because it basically absolved them of any responsibility for finding the child. But now we know a lot more. Here's what they needed to consider, much more than her age. Number one, her history. She does not have a history of running away. She's a very good girl. She's an honor student. She's totally connected with her family, and that connection was dropped on April 11th. That's a red flag. Secondly, children today are very connected to the internet. They're connected via social networking profiles. They're connected via chat rooms. They're connected via Instagram. And if those connections all of a sudden are dropped, again, you have another Very big red flag. And then thirdly, you have the vehicle. She just got the vehicle. She was probably very proud of it. And the vehicle's been found and she's missing. So yes, the police absolutely dropped the ball, and they now have a lot of work to do to catch up. And I would suggest the first thing they do is start looking at some of those social networks, see who she might have been dealing with. And secondly, as I can understand it, the last person that actually saw her was the friend who saw her at McDonald's at 4 o'clock on Friday, the April 11th. They need to talk to that young man and see who these bad elements that she was talking to are, and really start to put together a timeline, which, as far as I can tell, is very loose at this point.